How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today's video is going to be about my foot surgery. I'm gonna go ahead and answer some questions that I've gotten a lot recently and kind of explain to you what it is that I had and how the recovery went and some of the other questions that I have been getting. So let's go ahead and get on into the video and we can talk about it. So let's get into the first question. What is it that I actually had done to my foot? So what I actually had done on my foot is something called a bunionectomy. I had a bunion, or an overgrowth of bone, on my toe, and it was causing me pain. I had to have it fixed, so that's what I had done. I had a bunion removal surgery. So what actually is a bunion? Let me go ahead and get my handy dandy phone. A bunionectomy is a surgical procedure to excise or remove a bunion. A bunion is an enlargement of the joint at the base of the big toe and is comprised of bone and soft tissue. Over time, a painful lump appears at the side of the joint while the big toe appears to buckle and move sideways towards the second toe. The intense pain makes walking and other activities extremely difficult. Since the involved joint is a significant structure in providing weight-bearing stability, walking on the foot while trying to avoid putting pressure on the painful area can create an unstable gait. You're welcome, internet. What it really came down to is this picture of my x-ray of what my bunion looked like before the surgery. As you can see, at my big toe, there is a lump on the side, and it actually moved my toe out. That bone, it actually curves outwards, which it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be straight. Now, from this x-ray, you can see it's not substantially insane like a lot of other pictures of people's or things that you might see on the internet. So that's actually what my foot used to look like. It's kind of crazy. Look at them bones. Why did you have the surgery? Like I said, the reason that I had the surgery is because it was causing me a lot of pain, and especially with my job as a flight attendant, I had to wear heels when I wasn't on the plane, and then, you know, flats while I was on the plane. But the pressurization constantly was messing with it as well. But it did get to the point where it was excruciating and it needed to be done. There was no getting around it. So that's why I chose to have the surgery. So what did they actually do in the bunionectomy? So what I had done was actually called a chevron cut bunionectomy. What they did is they went ahead and they shaved off the side of the bunion, the overgrowth of bone that I had, and then they did a chevron cut into the bone and then repositioned it and placed a screw to keep stability. I'm lucky though, because the main bone that leads up to the toe, to the I guess it's a metatarsal bone. I'm not a foot doctor, but that bone actually was curved, and I was lucky because the doctor said had I had another degree or two of curve, he would have also had to make a cut at the top of the bone and straighten it all out. So this x-ray here is actually what my foot looks like now after the surgery. You can see how it is obviously shaved down. You can see where the screw is actually placed. And if you actually look at it, it's still substantially curved to that bone. So that's what he was saying. Had I had a little bit more of a curve, he would have had to have gone in and straightened the whole thing out. And that would not have been fun. Did it hurt? I can tell you they knocked me out. They put me under all kinds of drugs and I went to sleep. If you haven't already seen my surgery day vlog, you can check out the eye in the sky and that will take you to it. But I'm grateful because when I woke up, I was super happy. They had actually put a numbing agent in it that kept the foot numb for a good period of time after the surgery. But the recovery afterwards, it wasn't bad. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably maybe between like a 5.5, maybe a 7. It wasn't really bad. The day after the surgery, when the numbing agent finally wore off, that was probably the worst day. I can definitely tell you that the Norcos that they gave me didn't really do anything. I wouldn't say that they cut the pain much at all. What I ended up actually doing on day 3 was stopping the Norcos and taking prescription strength ibuprofen, and that worked amazing. So if you are planning on having the surgery, definitely ask about seeing if you can also get the ibuprofen, because I personally think that did an amazing job at cutting down my pain. The Norcos didn't really do that. So how's the recovery process been? It's been really easy. In the beginning, it's kind of hard to explain. It almost felt like I tell people I could feel my bone fusing. It's almost like growing pains. Forcing yourself to sit down and not do anything and not get up and not move around and just lay in bed all day. It sounds really fun until you're that person doing it. Trust me, you go a little crazy. What was the cost? So I have my insurance through Kaiser, and obviously not everybody has Kaiser, or not everybody has the same level of healthcare plan that I do. When I went in for my surgery, it was $250. That was all I paid for the surgery. It was $250 for it, and then I actually haven't had to pay so far for my post-op appointments. I've had 4 now, I think, and I believe from what I understood was that the post-op appointments are kind of bundled in with my copay from the day of surgery. But $250 was my total. Did I need to have it done? No, but I definitely chose to have it done because I didn't want to continue having that foot pain. That wasn't something that I was okay living the rest of my life with. This is a condition that I've had since I was a kid. It's hereditary for me. It wasn't something that I necessarily got from the types of shoes that I wore. It's just the way that my bone grows. I have too much bone, and my bones like to be wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. Am I gonna get my other foot done? So I actually had the bunion on my right foot. I do have one on my left foot. I chose to have the right one done because that was the one giving me the most problems, but now I'm definitely thinking I'm gonna have the left one done next year because it does hurt, it is sore, and I would prefer to have it done before I get too old to where recovery might be more difficult. What was the worst part about the surgery? It's really difficult to force yourself to just sit around and not do anything. Not being able to do anything for yourself is very difficult. I don't necessarily like having to depend on other people to get things done for myself. I also don't necessarily like having to ask people to do things for me all the time. Don't get me wrong, definitely nice to have my mom doing my laundry and making my food. But I definitely think I prefer to be able to get those things done myself in my own way. And crutches, you know, can we figure out a way to make those things a little bit better? That'd be great. Like, for real. I definitely suggest if you're having it done, if you're having foot surgery in general, definitely look into getting a knee scooter. That thing was a lifesaver. There was definitely times where the crutches kind of worked better because I just needed to hobble along to the bathroom. Definitely recommend if you're having any kind of foot surgery, knee scooter it up. We can create a scooter gang. What would you do differently? I don't know if I really would do much differently, outside of maybe, you know, continuing to ice it more like I did in the beginning. My doctor says that it's healing really, really well, and it looks good. It's still swollen, and he says that is normal. So what did they do at my first and second post-op appointments? So my first one was just basically changing the Band-Aid, making sure that everything looked good, that my toes weren't, you know, discolored or anything like that. There wasn't an infection. He was just kind of checking it to make sure that everything was a-okay, which it was. Now, my second post-op appointment was week 3 or week 4, I think, and that was to take the stitches out of my foot. I actually have a clip of my toe with the stitches, and I was trying to bend it. I was laughing because my toe was twitching, because I still don't have a full range of motion yet. I mean, we're still a month and a half out, but I was trying to bend it a little bit and it was just vibrating, and I thought it was so funny. So I'm gonna insert that clip now. If you are grossed out by stitches or anything like that, now's definitely the time to kind of skip this part. It's a quick clip, but this is what it looked like. It's just, it looks good. I'm trying. It's just, yeah, I had fun with that. So why did I choose to make this video? I wanted to make this video to show you that it's not necessarily all that bad. Has it been easy? No, but it definitely is not what everybody was making it out to be. Now, one of the things that I can definitely suggest if you are thinking about having the surgery done, go have a second opinion. I went to another doctor before I found Dr. Cooper, and as great as she wasn't what I was looking for. My doctor, he's a little neurotic. Like, he he's a little bit strange, and that's what I love about him, because immediately I knew that if he didn't feel like it was right, if it wasn't perfect, he wasn't gonna let me out of that surgery room. And that's what I wanted in my doctor. I wanted somebody who knew what they were doing, was confident in it, and wasn't gonna let me leave feeling like he didn't do 100% that he could have done. And I feel like maybe that's something that you should consider as well when you're looking at your doctor. Don't just look at, you know, what people's reviews are for them. See how you feel about them. If you don't necessarily feel like they're the one for you, if you're not getting that really strong feeling that that's the person you want cutting open your foot and shaving bone off, then don't do it. Go to another person, get a second opinion. It's okay, you're allowed to do that. And that's what I did. I went and had a second opinion and found the doctor for me. Well, that's it for this week's video, guys. If you have any questions about the surgery or how I'm healing, or any questions that I may not have answered in this video, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to answer them. If you have your own personal experiences with a bunionectomy, please go ahead and share it below as well. I'd love to know your tips and tricks. If you liked this video, thought it was interesting, if it helped you out at all, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up. If you thought this video was stupid and you just don't want to be watching me anymore, then go ahead and hit subscribe, because why not? Well, that's it from me, y'all. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys next weekend on a Saturday. Peace! I can't do it. I can't do the vlogger. Doesn't work.